Welcome to Charter Local Edition. Brad Pomerance here. Our road show continues. We're in Kern County today, and we are joined by a councilman from Bakersfield. His name is Terry Maxwell. And sir, the issue of marijuana continues to be high on the discussion list amongst Californians. We'll talk about potential legalization in a moment. Right now, we don't have legal marijuana for all uses. We have medical marijuana. But as you know, the California Supreme Court ruled that cities can make a decision as to whether they want to have clinics in their midst as part of their land use authority. What did the city of Bakersfield decide?
Bakersfield decided that we did not want to have medical marijuana shops inside the city limits, and we passed an ordinance after that landmark case was decided by the Supreme Court of California. We made the decision that we did not want medical marijuana shops. We have had a struggle to shut them down because, of course, this is a civil case now. It's not a criminal case to have one open. So the way that you have to go about that is, of course, filing it in a civil court. First of all, you let the owner of the medical marijuana shop know, the landowner also. The
landowner, right.
And hopefully that we've been successful in some cases to go ahead and get that shut down. But for the most part, we have not just seen a real slow process. We've also seen other shops open up. So for every one we close, we're having at least one or two.
Do you allow the delivery of medical marijuana in city limits?
No. So
what if someone in Bakersfield would like to use medical marijuana? What's their option?
They've got two options. Number one, they can grow it on their own.
Yes, they can.
They can
That's
grow
part
it
of
in
Prop
their
215.
They can grow it in the backyard, and God bless them if they do. I have no problems with that. There are shops in other counties that they can go to, and then they can obtain what they need and bring it back. There might be some county islands that still have that available. At the present time, I mean, let's talk realistically. Realistically there are plenty of medical marijuana shops in Bakersfield, which we would like to.
Really?
Oh, there's 40 of them.
Really?
Actually, I take that back. It might be that we're down considerably
to 38.
Well, we have the city attorney's office has been working very, very hard and diligently to go through the process civilly to try and get these closed.
But let me ask you, just to play it out, aside from potential legalization, could it be that a better solution would be, you know what? Obviously, there's a demand for medical marijuana.
Sure.
Why don't we decide that we're going to allow 5 shops in these locations?
Well,
please.
But how do you choose which 5? Number one,
and who wants?
Let's be realistic. There is a problem in the way that the first law was proposed. They left a wide open door as to how this was supposed to be regulated. Now,
although the state did pass an ordinance or a law in 2015 that's supposed to take effect in 2018, could be preempted by legalization.
But here today it doesn't help us. What they should have done when they first passed the law was they should have made this like getting alcohol ABC license, because then you could have charged people $100,000 for the license and $50,000 a year to renew it. You then would have had the money to have the resources to enforce it. Because
and welcome to California's initiative process.
Medical marijuana is a joke in the first place, because most of the people who are on it aren't on it for a medical condition. They get a medical card, but do they really go through the process of getting a differential diagnosis, trying other medications first? Do they go? And
that really begs the question, because, look, I'm no doctor, obviously.
I was in the medical field for 18 years.
So you know a bit. There seems to be some reputable studies which suggest that medical marijuana is beneficial for some. And so the question then becomes, like you said, it becomes a joke because, I hurt my back and all of a sudden I'm smoking marijuana every day.
Right. There are studies. And I am the first to say that when somebody is at end of life sort of stages,
chemotherapy,
give them anything they want. I don't care. I think that they deserve to have anything they want. But when, as you just pointed out, somebody has, I got a backache, and they go into a doctor that they know is going to write them a prescription for medical marijuana, rather than a doctor who's going to actually do some testing to see what exactly is the etiology of that particular back injury, and trying to figure out how that long-term wise that person can get more function out of their back by treating it properly, then I think it becomes a joke.
Could one argue, and again I'm just playing it out, could it not be seen as preferable that someone uses marijuana as opposed to Vicodin, which is an opiate? And we know what's happening with opiates. We're having an opiate epidemic, and people are dying as a result of opiate overdoses. People aren't dying from marijuana.
Vicodin is a drug that was studied and approved by the FDA. In order to get it approved by the FDA, they had to do volumes upon volumes. When I left the medical industry, I was a pharmaceutical representative. It cost $300 million to get one drug to market.
It's probably $1 billion now.
Oh, it's well over $1 billion now. So when these drugs come to market, they have been studied and studied and studied because of efficacy, because of side effects, and they have a real profile that we know. Now, medical marijuana, it hasn't been studied into the degree that any of these others have.
Well, and the irony
a lot of it is anecdotal.
Why hasn't it been studied? The federal government essentially has prevented it from being studied. I guess there's one legal medical marijuana, what is it, nursery at University of Mississippi or something.
But there is a way to go about growing it. If you apply to the FDA that you're going to be studying a drug, they will allow you to make certain they'll give you the right to go ahead and grow what you need and see if it's effective or not.
Let's talk, though, about potential legalization. Because, look, whether we like it or not, and I'm not taking a position, if I were a betting man, I would bet that marijuana will be legalized come November 7th, 8th, whatever election day is. Is that fair?
I think if you keep throwing that at them and throwing it at them, at some point the population of California says, "Uncle, okay, if that's what you really want to do, then go ahead."
And if you look at what's happened in other states, red, blue, deep blue, purple, it's passing everywhere.
My problem is this: they have not come up with a way of testing somebody for blood levels of marijuana.
It's a fair point.
And
They're getting there, as I understand it.
If you are in a car accident and you suspect that the person who ran into you and you got injured was on marijuana, exactly what's the level of marijuana like it is with alcohol?
But here's the question, sir, and I hear you. If marijuana is legalized, it's legalized. You know, the voters pass it. The voters are supreme. It's one thing if the state legislature passes it. That's easy to overturn, arguably. But if the voters pass it, that's it. So what do you do as a councilman from one of the biggest cities in this state, Bakersfield, close to 400,000 people?
Ninth largest.
I mean, this is a real city.
We can still go ahead and outlaw the sale of it inside the city limits. We can't.
I wonder, though, if under that Riverside Supreme Court case, if it would stand. I don't know. I used to be a lawyer. It's a dangerous thing.
Now, wait a minute. Your premise was whatever the citizens say is supreme, and that's what's going to happen. Well, I would argue with that. No, it's the Supreme Court of the state of California because they have overturned what the citizens want plenty of times, and we don't have time to go over them all.
Right, but I just wonder, and I'm just playing it out again, and, little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Clearly, this California Supreme Court said for medical marijuana, land use trumps. But if it's been legalized, I wonder what the California Supreme Court would say. Because can Bakersfield, for example, outlaw the sale of alcohol? I don't think so. I think so. And that's why I wonder.
I know that when somebody puts a application in, it has to go through the council process.
For sure. It's interesting. I mean, these are great issues.
Those are great issues. Great questions.
So what are you doing, though? I mean, I'm sure that Bakersfield's preparing for the possibilities.
We are. And those are closed session remarks. So
Fair enough.
As much as I would like, I can discuss what my personal feeling is.
Tell me.
I don't think there's any need for another mind-altering substance out there. I think we've got enough of them. Yeah. And if there's something that you could change in society, because I've seen too many lives destroyed by not only alcohol but the prescription drugs you just mentioned, as well as marijuana. And why do we go down this road? Why do we go down the road of allowing us one more thing that alters the mind and doesn't get people to live to their great potential?
I hear you loud and clear. We'll have to see what happens in November when that initiative will be on the ballot. Your name will be on the ballot. You're running for re-election. We wish you the very best of luck in November. His name is Terry Maxwell. He is a councilman in Bakersfield, California, where we are today. Brad Pomerance, Charter Local Edition.